All right. What's up, everybody? Live in the stream at twitch.tv/the_control freak, or everybody checking it out on YouTube later. Playing through a league of Kanister's last iteration of Grixis Ledger Shredder, or Ledger Shadow, or Ledger Shadow Shredder, or Ledger Shredder Shadow, or whatever we end up calling it, or Kanister calls it. This is kind of his take on the Grixis Shadow archetype. I think he won a challenge like a week ago with a similar list, just 3 shadows instead of 4. Added the 4th shadow recently. Cut back to 3 Dragon's Rage channelers, so we'll see how that goes. The threat base, pretty similar to what it's been for a while now. 4 Shadow, 4 Ragavan, 2 Kroxa, but in this case 4 Shredder, 3 Dragon's Rage channeler to round it out. Rest of the spells pretty similar. 4 Drown in the Lock, 4 Expressive Iteration, 2 Terminate, great against things like Murktide, Regent, Omnath. 4 Thoughtseize, no Inquisition of Kozilek, since it's not hitting things like Solitude, Murktide, Omnath, Big Teferi, Fury, any of those crazy things. So just if it's not hitting things that you want to hit, it's probably a dead hand disruption spell. 2 Fatal Push, great against opposing Ledger Shredders. 3 Unholy Heat, and a Lightning Bolt. In the sideboard, we've got Flusterstorm, 2 Spell Pierce, great against like the Cascade stuff. 2 Dress Down, great against Urza Saga, Mystical Dispute. 2 Turok, Alpine Moon, a Kaito Shizuki. Good for the grindy mid-range matchups. 1 Kolaghan's Command, 2 Unlicensed Hearst, and Engineered Explosives. So let's go ahead and hop in, see what we got. Go away. See Dingo up here on the leaderboard. All right. What are we looking for round number 1? So for a lot of these like Ledger Shredder, Dragon's Rage Chandler kinds of lists, one of the things that I've noticed or I've had issues with is just being able to close out games against anything that's kind of playing unfair. Like, as much as people don't want to admit, Tron is not a good deck, but it is played a lot in leagues. People can just grind through matches pretty quickly. You either win or lose in a small amount of time. And decks like this variation of Shadow have little game against things like Tron. You're just kind of like tossing that matchup out the window and saying, hey, I'm going to assume I dodge it every time. If I don't, I'm in trouble. But that's kind of one of the things that historically Shadow is preyed upon is, hey, if my opponent's not interacting early and often, I'm probably just going to get down to Big Shadow and run them over. We'll see how it plays out. Also, I got to make sure I do my plug at some point. If you're enjoying the stream, enjoying the content, you want to see more, feel free to hit the follow button. Doesn't cost you anything, just lets you know whenever we go live, so you can come check it out. You can also hit like exclamation Twitter or exclamation YouTube in chat if you want links to either of those. Get notified when we go live, see previous leagues. That's it. That's my plug. Hope you enjoyed it. Alright. We've got basic mountain and basic swamp in this list. So let's lead on Delta. Now just get Blood Crypt, play Channeler. Opponent revealed Gigantha, so it could be a mirror match. Could be Tron, could be... looks like a mirror match. And they've got Splinter Twin. Boo. Alright, do I want to upkeep Unholy Heat? Or Or do I want to just terminate? Probably upkeep Unholy Heat. Get my scry on. Doing this on my upkeep so I get a little more information about what I'm drawing into. It's like I don't really want another land or something, so... opponent should wait until after I surveil to crack that bauble. Because if they see something and I just, like, ditch it with Channeler, then that's just dead information. So they should want to know if I keep that on top what it is, as opposed to what I'm throwing away. And then push is a nice pickup. Lets me deal with like a Shredder, a dashed Ragavan. What do we got? All right. Kill this on my upkeep. It's kind of a funky situation because, like, killing it on my upkeep means if I have a Drown in the Lock, I get to scry before my draw step, which is obviously nice for me. But if they wait until my draw step, they give me more chances at finding, like, a Drown in the Lock. I think I'm just going to add Gigante here. I don't want to, like, spend this turn doing nothing. They could dash a Ragavan, but that gets me these shadows online. So that's not, like, worst thing in the world for me. Yep. Got like a Shadow or a Thoughtseize. Sure. Getting deeper in the basement each week? What do you mean? Cellar of Modern? That's what it feels like. Ditch a Channeler. Oh, my room? No, I just keep turning things. Like, I started off facing this way, but I had to, like, full turn to see second monitor, or see third monitor. So then I moved it to here, so from there to here. But then I was in the corner of the desks, and that was really awkward. So now I moved it from there to here, and now I can see what's going on all the way across. If I just go and kill. Yeah, I can do kill. Hiya. Carry on. I'm glad you're a realtor, not an interior designer. Same. I would not make it as an interior designer. Ironically, my mother is an interior designer. exile. Ragavan, sure. Okay. Blue. Ooh. Not particularly good. So I'm assuming they're going to have a kill spell for this channeler. Kill spell of some sort. Yep. Alright. Let's find a fetch land. Bobbles. Fine. What you want? I think if I'm in their position, probably taking a shadow. Alright, so let's go Thoughtseize, see what's up. I'm just taking iteration and going shadow, shadow. Or am I taking drown and going shadow, shadow? Guess we take the guaranteed kill spell. They've still got Giganta to add. So here's... Alright, so Ragavan I know is their draw off the Shredder trigger. If they attack with Ledger Shredder, it means they have to double chump block on the crackback. This is kind of awkward with casting this iteration. I guess that's fine. Yeah, never mind. I don't know why I was thinking they needed to tap Watergrave Blood Crypt and... Alright, so the real question is, where are my expressive iterations, and how do I will one to the top of my library? I don't really like this Croxa here. I think they should have just played, the Shadow here and, like, discard the Croxa for free. Because now they put themselves in a position where they might be forced into double chump block if I find, like, a fetch land or a removal spell. They can't attack. Croxa trigger's not killing me. Yeah, so now they have to double chump. Went 2-0 with our bad Jun draft on the first game of match 3, then lost game 2 and game 3 to my opponent having some insane rips. Ripped the streak. Pour one out. Now, like, they're dead if they escape Croxa. So they have to have, like, escape Croxa plus land for Shadow. Your Channeler plus Shadow. Alright. This is still double chump block duty if they don't find anything. I do appreciate them bobbling me instead of themselves, since they have no control over what they're drawing. There's not really a reason to bobble themselves. So it's double chump block again. And we'll just take the damage. Yeah, I'm just gonna play out Channeler. I'm not afraid of a Croxa escape. Woo. Alright. Spell Pierce isn't bad. Flusterstorm. If it's your first time on the channel, this far right section over here is not me saying I'm 100% bringing these cards in. It's just saying these are the things that I want to consider. So, like, some number of these will come in, but it gives me a place to, like, compare what I might bring in versus what I'm boarding out. It's like, I don't really want Thought Seizes. Want to trim on some Ragavans. So I'm probably boarding out 6 cards. So now I get to take a look at, like, what are my 6 best things to bring in. Bring in, like, 1 Spell Pierce. Or would I rather have... I'd probably rather have Turok, actually. Do something like that. Bring in more of my 2-for-1s. And yeah, we'll keep this. We got Ragavan, we got Double Shadow. Something that may or may not be a expressive iteration in the middle. And, like, I'm not a big fan of fetching and shocking when you don't have anything to do. Like, maybe they've got a Fatal Push here and they get to kill my Ragavan. Or they're sitting on Spell Pierce, but you can just, like, play the fetch land and not fetch and shock. Like, I don't think there's just some huge benefit to fetching and shocking aggressively when you don't need to. Especially in a matchup where, like, I'm going to be playing creatures that are more than likely going to be attacking in, so... Watergrave off the top of my library, sure. Yep. So he draws up to 5 here, picking up what? Delta, sure. I also wonder if it's right to take the draw in these shadow mirrors. Used to be, but I feel like things have probably shifted enough recently to where it's better to take the play. You just have like so many really good 1-drops that if one goes unanswered, kind of walk to a win. Good hearse. Like, what do I think about hearse? Hit the 2 instants. Or a sorcery. Probably a sorcery in an instant. And then play a fetch land, attack with shadow. Or I could just like play hearse and not attack with shadow. Iterating. Mike, only 360p quality, am I? Sexix, what's up? So, Bobble to the bottom, Channeler to exile. Am I attacking with shadow? I'm going to say yes. Because I've got this other expressive iteration. Got my HD. So it is in HD right now. We're good. Stream quality is fine. New question. What is the purpose of Kaido in the sideboard? Which matchups do you side it in? So it's a essentially 3 mana, just like draw a card every turn, and you're bringing it in against things like 4-color, blue-white control, the mirror match, any sort of grindy matchup where like you want card advantage. Are they going to offer to trade channelers? Am I taking the trade of channelers? I think I'm just taking this. Like, they have to do something about my shadow. We'll play their own shadow. Guess I could go like shadow plus Ragavan. Okay. These. So, what's my plan here? I can go... Like, I know I can clear out these two. So if I go Heat to hand, Ragavan to the bottom, Bauble to exile, I can see if I'm drawing into another Unholy Heat. Another shadow off the top for them. You're right. You're right on the Ragavan dash. Wait, no, I didn't have enough mana to do that. So no, that wasn't right. Expressive Iteration hits Ragavan. I don't have enough mana to kill Ragavan and dash my own Ragavan. That still costs 3 mana. 2 to dash Ragavan, 1 to kill their Ragavan. I don't have 3 mana. Yeah, just have to kill this and attack. But I can only attack with Channeler. I can't attack with Shadow. So I'm dead to them having a Drown in the Lock. Why not shoot Darcy? I feel like shooting Darcy is the... Alright, they had it. I feel like shooting Darcy is the play to not die, not play to win line. Like, I shoot Darcy, that means they guarantee get to hit me with a Ragavan. And, like, I'm not dead, but I have to chump block their shadow. They hit me with a Ragavan. They have another shadow in hand. I feel like I'm not winning that. Like, it didn't end up mattering there, but... Alright, what do we got? Do you feel right playing 19 lands or maybe 18 is just fine? 19's probably fine. You've got Shredder plus Darcy to kind of filter through lands. But at the same time, I've had a lot of matches with just Shadow in general in the last, like, month or so where I feel like I've been getting to a critical point in the match and then just flooding out super hard. Was attack with Shadow and force them to block with their Shadow an option? No, because I have to attack with Dragon's Rage Channeler as well. So if I hit them with Channeler, they go down to 1. Their Shadow becomes a 12/12. So they're not trading shadows or chumping with Shadow. They're just blocking and then outgrowing after damage. So their Shadow lives, my Shadow lives, nothing gets accomplished. Like, if I could have forced the trade there, that would have been better. But since I couldn't force the trade... Assuming they got a kill spell for this Darcy. Nope. Shredder. Purse. Okay. All right. Little hearse on hearse action. I think I'm going to keep that on top just as like a free discard. No. My bobble. Giganta to hand. Okay. Love it. Just gonna sit here and exile each other's graveyards. I always played 19. 18 seems nuts to me. Blue Red Murktide plays 4 considers and has no Kroxa and plays 19. Yeah, but like the considers let you just mill through extra lands whenever you want, so it's not like crazy to do that. Okay. If they go to fetch, I'm going to respond with Fatal Push. I could also go for push to try to bait a drown. You know you want to crack that fetch. There. Well, if they hit me with a shredder, it gets my shadows online. Respond to this. Sure. I can shuffle it away if I don't want it. Do I think Ledger Shredder is a must 4 of? Absolutely not. So I could go for the drown in the lock. Get them to activate Hearse, and I get to respond with my Hearse. I don't hate Shredder, I just don't think it's like an auto 4 of. Nothing about the card has jumped out and said, like, you have to play 4 copies of this card, or you just lose. They exile. Darcy. Five cards in hand. Target a couple things in their yard. They can respond with their shredder. I get to untap and have my shredder or my hearse. Just gonna hit me, sure. What you got? Okay. What would be my best draw here? I guess just like Fourth Shadow. Unless they've got EE in. Discard, destroy my hearse. Okay. So that's how we're doing this, eh? Let's go to second main phase. So we don't have to attack with this Darcy. Hiya. Hiya. Still have Giganta to add. We do not have theirs. It's a bunch of birds. How about an expressive iteration? We sure aren't seeing a lot of those. I wouldn't mind finding one. I see. Don't have good attacks. Huh. That looks like lethal. Man, not finding any expressive iterations is rough. Oh, let me draw my card. Oh, man. Like, the hearse was okay. We just couldn't find any way to get our shadows on the board earlier. Because if we could have gotten shadows down before they K-commanded our hearse and made us discard the third shadow, like, we would have been fine. But just not finding, like, expressive iterations to take advantage of these hearses staring at each other was a huge, huge, huge hurt. Or, like, where were our ledger shredders? I don't think we saw any that entire match. Which is kind of crazy. Like, I really don't think we saw a single ledger shredder any of those games. I feel like the odds of that are fairly low. See what you're playing. Sounds like you need to brush up on your bird law and then it'll come. Well, if you see Article 7, subsection 4, paragraph 3 of the Bird Lawyer Manual, you will clearly see it stated that ledger shredders are supposed to attend court whenever they are summoned under penalty of law. All right. They've got every draw 3 or draw 2 known to mankind. Am I playing Ragavan into a known fatal push? Nah. Ledger Shredder auto 4 of confirmed. Well, we played 4 and didn't see him. See, if you ever want to draw Shredder, then you have to start calling tax season. And they will arrive to shred your ledgers. Ah, tax season. Ah. Alright. Delta Tarn. I'm gonna go ahead and play this Ragavan out. If they fatal push it, it means next turn I get to play Shadow and hold up Drowning Lock. Still on the fence on 4 Shredder main deck, honestly. I mean, I've been kind of okay with 2, but 4 has felt over the top every time I've tried it out. Double Beseiju in their Seasoned Pyromancer deck. I like it. Got to decide if I want to bolt myself and make this a 2-turn clock or not. Liliana of the Veil. Liliana of the Please Go Away. You're not welcome here. I just really miss having access to Dress Down and K Command, man. I've liked Dress Down, but like K Command has been atrocious for me. It just never hits anything you want to hit. Chalices are so few and far between that I don't really want to like game plan for them. Alright. So they can Spyro if they want to. But if they don't, I just get to escape Croxa. Or if they do, I get to escape Croxa. They have to ditch Riveteer's Charm. Bolting them to force a chump block. Sure. Black, red, black. Land, because I got another land in hand. Bauble. Thoughtseize is fine. Don't know, I really like this one of the main helps the hammer match up. Get Ragavan down. Okay, never mind. I think the hammer matchup's like not great, but I never feel like I really need more main deck ways of interacting with it, or I never feel like I want more main deck ways of interacting with it. A couple Ragavans on the draw. Something like that. Like, what's our win rate against Hammer Time? Grixis. Yeah. It's low. Been really good with Jund, mainly because Tarmogoyf gets like attack through Sanctifier and whatever. And when you have a start of like Ragavan into Tarmogoyf, you just don't care about like Esper Sentinel. I'm gonna keep because it's a Thoughtseize matchup. Got a couple looks at a second land. If I find the second land, the hand's fine. If it wasn't a Thoughtseize matchup, I'd probably ship this back. But like when resources are already at a premium. This. So go. It's probably a lot better for Jund since you can get the whole Beseiju Ren 6 engine online. Well, I don't play Beseiju and Jund Shadow. But it's just like so much more of that deck you don't care about if you're playing Jund. Like the things that really hinder Grixis are like Esper Sentinel starts into Sanctifier on Vec and things like that, and Jund just like doesn't care about that start. Please give me a Ledger Shredder activation. Land. Not a land. You're playing a green land, it's harder to cast Proxa, for example. I mean, it is, but that's not, like, the only reason I would not play Boseiju. Like, I think the decks that want Boseiju want, like, multiple copies of it if they're playing Ren, and, like, I could never play multiple copies of the card. Why you no give me Shredder triggers? Oh man. I'd rather have the actual draw. I'm just gonna ignore this attack for a turn. I really don't want to like attack both at Ren, have them kill one, and then like get a free block on the other or something. Sure. Or like kill one, keep the Ren alive, and then like swing back with a dashed Ragavan. Alright. Have at it. Got another spell? Huh? No? I really don't want to give me these Shredder triggers. Land? Land? Hey, got there. Alright, guess I'm just playing Channeler here. I don't care about the endurance, right? Like, I'm trying to set up being able to multi-spell. And, like, if Expressive Iteration finds a land next turn, then I know I'll have Delirium to be able to Unholy Heat the Endurance, or the Renin 6. Like, this isn't attacking. It can block, I guess, but yeah. And by the way they've played so far, I feel like they've drawn another... I know they've got a Ragavan. I feel like they've drawn a couple more lands. Alright. Let's start with Unholy Heat. Two terminates in the mains because there isn't space in the sideboard for one of them. No, it's for having more answers to like Murktide and Omnath and opposing Ledger Shredders and stuff like that. Oh, man. They're not efficient in the other matchups, but you don't care about the other matchups. Like... This is why you care about Murktide, Omnath, Fury, Solitude, those things. Like, because here... And then, like, Amulet right here, Yawgmoth right here. Like, there's not a big argument for caring about something that's, like, tier 3 or tier 4 or something. Why don't I attack for just that situation? Because if they killed a Murktide and swung back, like, I know they have the Ragavan. So... Alright, so let's go... Ragavan to hand. Turok to the bottom. Croaksa to exile. I don't want to put Turok to hand because I'm never casting that Turok. Or at least not for like 3 turns. Like, I know they're going to ping this Ren or Ragavan, but then I've got Croaksa after it, which gives me more space to just draw something live. Where, like, Turok's not really helping me. That's a gross one. So that's lethal now, because they can K-Command, shoot me for 2, get back, like, Endurance, play Endurance. Yep. Yeah, like I just wasn't in a spot where I could spend a couple turns with like Kroxa and Turok and not get guaranteed results. I guess Hurts is like better than a Thoughtseize. Maybe. Maybe it's not. Probably should just have like third Ragavan over the hearse. Then kind of same situation. Like I don't really want to be mulliganing a bunch, especially on the play against the hand disruption deck. So we're gonna see if we get there. So like any natural land rip and we're pretty happy. Or we miss and we're sad. Alright. Yep. Hey. Easy. Risky one lander. I didn't see any risk there at all. What risk are you talking about? We knew he had it. I think I'll keep that on top. Yes, we can go like K command to hand, heat to the bottom, delta to exile. Just play out Shadow here. Liliana of the Veil. All right. So we've got Channeler to hand, whatever. We're just gonna try to keep hitting land drops. And discard Hearse to Liliana. They were thinking about Spell Bomb or not. Okay. It's gotta mean their last card, Spyro, right? It's not. Alright, so let's swing at Liliana. Opponent cracks Spell Bomb. No, they're gonna Endurance. That's quite a bit worse for me. Oh. What does that mean I'm doing? So they Endurance me. I can't Spell Bomb. Or I can't Drown because of Spell Bomb. Drown after they use it on your graveyard. Well, I can't force them. I can't force them to crack Spell Bomb on me. Like, I think I need to play Shredder. And see if I can get them to use this Spell Bomb. What's the benefit to playing Shadow here? Or keeping Shadow? If I keep Shadow, play Bobble, I get a Shredder trigger. Would I rather have Shredder, or would I rather have Iteration? Or would I rather have Shadow or Iteration? I think if I'm keeping Shadow, I'm not playing it. So I might as well take the Bauble in the iteration if I'm not playing the Shadow. Like, what I'm trying to do is set up a position where my opponent is more pressured into cracking this Bauble, which means I get guaranteed value off my Drown in the Loch. Because I get to just kill this Endurance. Like this. They crack Spell Bomb, so I know I get to kill this Endurance with Drown. They're drawing into Inquisition, and then they've got another draw off the top, and if they draw something like dead there, then I'm like cruising with this game. I'll ditch the Unholy Heat. Bolt me. Sure. Let's go Iteration. Drown in the Loch is perfect. And we'll just exile Terminate. Kill Lily. Say go. Now we can hold up Drown so we're not just like dead to a top deck Bolt. Aha. Whew. Play the long game. Like, I think that game was a lot of, like, there's high risk or high reward plays you can make right now, but for a lot of long-term risk, or you can take, like, the safer, or not safer, but more upside long-term plays and give up the short-term reward. Like, we could have played Shadow off of, that expressive iteration, but if our opponent cracked the Bauble on themselves, then now Drown in the Loch is just like a dead piece of cardboard in our hand, and we can't terminate anyway if we do that, so we're just like at the mercy of Lily plus Endurance, where by not casting Shadow we got to get value out of our Drown in the Loch, killing the Endurance. We got to hold on to Terminate, draw an extra card off Bauble. Is it another mirror? Infinitely more expressive iterations than we had in our last mirror, if that's what it is. Oh, wait, no, they didn't reveal Gigant, only we did. Never mind. We don't know what it is. I see March Flats, I immediately think Scam Blade. Probably main deck Dothy. Man. so good at this. Hiya. Alright, so we've got Drown in the Lock for anything on curve here. They do nothing. Okay. If that's the case, I think we're just gonna Mountain Pass. Hold up Drown again, and then next turn we can Iteration. If we find a fourth land, have Drown. Thoughtseize. I'll Drown a Thoughtseize. Since they didn't play a land last turn, I'm kind of assuming they don't have a land to follow up this Thoughtseize. So, terminate to hand, Delta to the bottom, Shadow to exile. Just go ahead and play Shadow for the quote unquote free value. I think it's a little bit better than like exiling or putting the terminate in exile and just like not getting the second card. Even though like that, there's a good chance that the Shadow dies. But what are we killing this with? Heat. Alright, so now we've got I kind of want to just Gigantha to hand. So if we find like Shredders or something off this iteration, makes that a little bit better. Spyro. Alright, so let's go blue-red. Oh boy. So Channeler to hand, Mire to exile. Play Channeler. Play Thoughtseize. Take a Shredder. Turok, push. So if they play the other Turok, we can push. Alright, so I'm not doing anything here, right? I'm fine with like whatever 2 cards I discard. But like that gave me a chance of keeping Gigantha or something. Alright, so if I know this is going to the graveyard off the Ledger Shredder, then I should go ahead and put it in the graveyard now in case my next card is Kroxa. Alright, so they've got Fatal Push, Unknown. No, my boy. Alright, where's Kroxa at? Need one of those. Not quite. Draw step K command. Gross. Gross. Really like one of them there Kroxas. Yep. One of your finest Kroxas, please. One time. Dealer one time. Not quite. Yep. Not too late, dealer, for one of those Kroxas I've been hearing about. Kroxa, Expressive Iteration, Lightning Bolt. Probably just take another dude. I got another Spyro. Yep. Oh, baby. Alright. So you have to attack. So let's swing in with you. Gotta get a basic swamp here. Red, red, black, black. And we really hope that their last two cards are just like Ragavan land, so they have to discard the Ragavan. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. So we ditch. Oh, man. So if we ditch Kroxa, we die if their last card's another Ragavan. Let's see, Sir Elio, thank you so much for the follow. I hope you're having an awesome Monday so far. Throwing away the channeler. Were we right? Terminate. Okay. Have to block, sure. Should have played out the lead. Doesn't really matter. I guess it might make them think with Liliana. But I think my best draws now are like Unholy Heat, Drown in the Lock. I think I've still got to Terminate. No, I don't have a Terminate. What's opponent saying in chat? Just good luck, have fun. Lily, escape Spyro tokens. Yep. Yeah, it's just like as soon as he draws a non-land card, or yeah, a land card, game's over. He dies to Kroxa triggers. Yep. Alright. Kaido, K-Command. Possibly want Turok. They've Dress Down and Turoks of their own. Something like that. Reveal my Giganthe. Alright. Chan's pretty weak if he's got a turn 1 Ragavan, though. That is what we call not a turn 1 Ragavan. Right. Yep. Dolphy. Nope. Got it. of those hands, eh? The last two cards like Land Lily. Doffy, sure. Yeah. I'm just gonna end to turn this dress down. Nice. Hiya. This music's trippy in the headphones. It's like echoing one side to the other. So they know about the Croxa. They don't know about either of these shadows. Do nothing. Basics stay messing you up, do they? I think the only one that bugs me is there's a swamp that looks like it should be a mountain. Back Ragavan. Okay. Oh, just having the basics? Sure. I do draw basics, like, a lot more than I theoretically should, but... Like, I have so many hands where I have, like, 2 basics in my opener, and they just look awful. Seen some lists dropping the basic mountain. I don't mind dropping the basic mountain. Finally have the Lily. Play the Ragavan. Alright. Can we get the land to escape this Croxa? One land to escape the Croxa. Well, not exactly. Basic Mountain's good versus Burn, and that's about it. Yeah. Okay. How about a land? Okay. So that does escape Croxa. Just kind of going down the list because I think I'm going to be escaping this again pretty quickly. Alright, so they kill Croxa. I dash Ragavan, kill Liliana. Or they just find a removal spell for the Croxa. Okay. Keep a shadow in the yard in case I find K command. I'd rather like kill the den, get back shadow, or kill Liliana, get back shadow, or something. Appreciate them giving me a choice on what I gotta sacrifice. Expressive iteration. All right. Expressive iteration. Expressive iteration. There's still 3 in the deck. Expressive iteration, almost. How about instead of Dragon's Rage Channeler, Expressive Iteration? I did forget about Giganta there. You're correct. Block. Giganta would have been very, very good that turn. Hiya. Clap legit scared the fuck. Was it that loud? Guess maybe. Alright. I gotta kill this den, right? And just take the one off the Ragavan. Or the 2 off the Ragavan. Yeah. Beginning of combat. Kill you. Alright. Be nice. You can hit like a drown in the lock or something. Son of a... Judge. Yeah. Knew they had to be in the deck somewhere. Alright. Just get Blood Crypt. Escape. Yelled Croxa. Hiya. Alright. We are presenting lethal. Saniti? Give me a pronunciation. Thanks so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Monday wherever you're at in the world. appreciate you coming by and hanging out. I gotta figure out why my track title's not updating. What did they get back? They got back Croxa. Got back Croxa and proceeded to not play. I guess they just get the free discard off of it. What if I don't attack and make them actually cast the Croxa? Is that crazy? That's probably crazy. Slightly less crazy now. Well, this doesn't make them chump with Ragavan, because they can discard the Croxa for free and just take 6 and go to 2. They're chumping 100%. See what they're drawing into. Terminate. Like, now that I've got the Shredder, they're probably chumping. I'll give you that one. All right. So they can either terminate or escape Croxa. If they terminate my Croxa, then Scalding Tarn gives me Delirium. All right. So now we've got some Croxa on Croxa violence. This is just like a race that I'm winning. Attack everything. They discard the terminate. They have to block my Croxa because of the Ledger Shredder flying over. And I'm discarding the Ledger Shredder, their Croxa. I don't think they're supposed to play... Well, I guess the land doesn't matter with Croxa. But with discarding this Ledger Shredder, it means I can just top deck a way to turn on Delirium and I win. Or anything that goes in the graveyard, like a fetch land, and I win because I can escape Croxa again. That works by all technicalities. Get away. Hiya. Declare them blockers. Alright. 2-1. 2-1 with 3 of the grindiest matchups I could have asked for. Like, are you feeling good with the only 4 discard spells? It's not my preferred configuration. So when Ledger Shredder first came out, a lot of people made the joke of like, oh, it's the blue Tarmogoyf and stuff like that. And the obviously like the size comparison is off, but I do think there's some merit in the idea that like when Ledger Shredder is really, really good is when you have like turn 1 discard into turn 2 Ledger Shredder. Kind of like Tarmogoyf. So I always feel like the hands that have turn 1 Inquisition or something, turn 2 Ledger Shredder, Bauble, or turn 2 Ledger Shredder, turn 3, like start off with Expressive Iteration, are like really solid hands. Oh boy. Opponents on Tron. They've mulled to 4 very, very quickly. So literally can't be anything else. So Channeler, Bauble for lands. I'm gonna keep a Ragavan. I'm greedy. Shredder's definitely not a good top deck, but can be insane on turn 2 unchecked. Agreed. It's a weird Tron deck. I guess you can search up Polluted Delta off your Expedition map and so I'd prefer at least 1 Inquisition. What would I trim for that? Probably a Ledger Shredder. Alright, what goes turn 1 basic island? I mean, it looks like opponent was having variance issues. They got basic island, not like a steam vents. So kept something on top to draw. Okay. Deck. I think I'm going to try to trade off with this Shredder. Guess I should. Like, I was kind of hoping that. Guess I don't really know what I was hoping. Hoping to find relevant stuff. Because my opponent just plays like a Murktide here. I am screwed to that. But like basic swamp doesn't help me with anything I've got going on, so I don't even think I want to consider that. See what I did there? It's fun. It's magic pun. Okay. Getting me closer to shadows, I see. How many Graven Cairns are in this list? If we rip one of those off the top, how good of a shape are we in? Yep. Let's see. Insight, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Monday so far. Ugh, that was rough. But joy of this game of Magic. We get more games. Vagavan can go away. Trim some number. Drown in the locks. Just go like that. This guy you're still playing? What, that last game? I mean, if they didn't have Murktide and we found another land, we weren't in like horrendous shape. But obviously once they find Murktide, then it becomes too awkward to have to like fetch and shock and wait a turn on Shadow. I've been playing since this morning. It's only been 4 hours. And this league has been like grindy matchup after grindy matchup, so. Oh, Moto, you tease. You know I'm gonna keep it. Well, I appreciate the well wishes. MTGO gives you a swamp, keep it. I mean, they gave me a swamp, but the swamp literally did nothing for me. Want to crack that bubble on my turn because I have Fatal Push in my deck, so if I draw that and they've got like a Ragavan, I want to kill it on their turn. Man, today. Alright. We'll figure it out. Hey, there's our push. Wouldn't have minded having that. For sure. Spell Pierce. And then they've got Untap, Iteration. So, probably just should have let them go to their turn. I'm super behind once I get this iteration off. But that was the nature of this hand. Like, if we saw the second land, we're cruising. But I'd rather, like, test the limits of the deck in a league like this than try to go into a competitive event and keep a hand like this. So, find out what you can or can't do now. Oh. There's a land. Oh, is that a pocket of them? Oh, yeah, it was.
It's the thing about making it feel right.
But like I said, I would rather have these bad keeps now and know when I get into that situation in a big event, like, hey, you cannot keep this. It's not going to work out. As opposed to, like, not keeping them now and then get into a big event and have a sketchy one and think like, okay, well, there's a decent chance I can pull out of this. Like, nah. That's why it's testing. We're here to test. We're not here to, like, try to trophy race. I want to get meaningful information out of my matches.
If it's an accident, that's an error that feels good, then you leave it.
Speaking of which, I need to update. What have we played against? We beat Blue-White Control earlier. We beat... Lost to Shadow Mirror. Lost to Murktide twice. Once last league, once this league. Lost to Eldrazi Tron. GX Shadow we beat. What else? Red Black X Midrange we beat, and I know I'm forgetting a couple.
But it's not a thing about making it accurate.
Nope. Yep. Ditch our Steam vents.
It's not about getting all the errors out.
Hopefully I pick up most of the stuff I'm looking for. What kind of stuff are you still looking for? The only information I'm getting is I wish I could jam Rag, DRC, Bobble, Goy, Friend and Six, Drown, Terminate, Liliana, Seasoned Pyromancer, Turok, Kroxa, and Expressive all in the same deck and make the mana work. Yeah, the mana is definitely the tough part. Like, if you cut DRC out of that, it's doable. Like, we've played some 4-color lists. Like, Goyf, Drown, Iteration, Ragavan. And then I've played like Rin, no Expressive Iteration. But you could like cut Wraiths for Iteration if you wanted and run Giganta and... not be like super upset with it. Yeah, you're not going to be able to make it work if you're running Beseiju as well. Like, that's too many avenues you're trying to divide the deck in. Just diving into Magic Christmas Land. Amulet Titan. Let's see. Imagine you had perfect mana and could play any cards you want. What would they be? Perfect mana, could play any cards that I want. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I'll think about it a little bit more after this. Yep, I would like that one. Well, they can't currently make green mana, which is kind of funny. So I think I'm just taking Dryad. Like, if they find a bounce land, then obviously it would have been better to take Titan, but they can play Dryad next turn. And if they found a bounce land, they could play it this turn. Alright, so if I could play all the cards I wanted to play. Shadow, Iteration, Drown in the Lock, Ragavan, Goyf, Rin, Prismatic Ending, Stubborn Denial. That's about everything. Like, there's so many times I want Prismatic Ending, and I wish I could just splash it into, like, Grixis and make it work, but anybody who says it's halfway consistent is lying to you. Like, I would argue that I've probably played more 4-color Death Shadow than, like, 99.9% of Shadow players out there. And splashing that 4th color is the most wildly inconsistent thing. Like, you'll have some games where your mana is just absolutely perfect and you're on a roll and everything hits when you need it to. And then it's immediately followed up by that game where, like, the fetches you have can't get your colors in the order you need them, and it just looks like such a big pile. Can't Dothian play Drown in the Lock also? Dothian and Drown are anti-synergistic. We've gotten to the point in Modern where, like, worrying about synergy or non-synergy is overrated. Because you can look at a deck like Blue-Red Murktide, the best deck in the format, plays Dragon's Rage Channeler, Unholy Heat, and Murktide Regent. Like, the most anti-synergistic combo you can come up with. and yet it's the #1 deck in the format because the cards are just individually strong. So, like, that's what I think of whenever anybody says, oh, synergy. Like, Magic doesn't care about synergy anymore. Magic cares about playing the strongest cards you can play at any given time. Worked well in the Traverse era when you played Oko, Goyf, Shadow, and all that. Yeah, but, like, you were only splashing red for Temur Battle Rage in those decks. So you didn't need red until, like, turn 4 or 5 or whenever you drew the Battle Rage. But now with, like, Expressive Iteration and Ragavan in these cards, like, you want red aggressively early. But then if you're playing Tarmogoyf, you need to have your green early in case you draw a Goyf. But then you start getting into the situation of, like, alright, I gotta run Breeding Pool, Blood Crypt to be able to get most of my stuff online. So my Expressive Iteration and my Drowning Lock's online, but not my sideboard Terminate on turn 3. And, like, You can always just try to run, like, as many Mana Confluence and City of Brass effects as we can and make 5-color Shadow that way. Maybe that's the answer. Mardu Shadow has a Shadow Tutor. Sure, a bad one. A very, 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 very bad one. Like, whenever people suggest Ranger Captain of Eos, the only reason that card got any sort of promotion as a Shadow Enabler was because you could turn 1 ditch it to Faithless Looting and turn 2 reanimate it. That is the only reason. Turn 3 Ranger Captain, grab a Shadow is bad in Magic the Gathering. Like, here's my Ranger Captain. What'd you do? Omnath? Well, shit. I'm SOL. Here's my Ranger Captain into counter spells or whatever. Ranger Captain into Murktide. Like, taking your entire turn 3 off to tutor up a Shadow is a bad play. And I know that's going to make me sound like Shadow elitist, but it is. It's not good. The only Shadow deck that, or 2 Shadow decks that Ranger Captain is or was good in was the old Mardu Shadow decks when you could Faithless Looting away and Unearth and get into Unearth loops. And then the second was we played a Mardu Stoneblade Shadow list that could go get Fervent Champion off of Ranger Captain. And that was really sweet. Like, that worked out a lot more than I will care to admit that it worked out. Alright, we're apparently just destined to have expressive iterations. But I think I need to worry about killing my opponent more. So I'm going to go... Bobble to hand. Am I going bobble to hand? No. We'll just go iteration to hand, bobble to the bottom, delta to exile. Then I don't care about holding up Revolt because I get a treasure token here. Let's see. Mike trying to preach the truth. Trying to. Whether anybody listens or not, it's a different story. Ranger Captain is fun versus Rhinos and Living In, which is about it. Half the time. Like, this is getting to the same argument that people give for Riveteer's Charm. half the time it's going to look amazing because you've got your Ranger Captain on turn 3 on the play and you get to sack it into a Cascade spell. The other half the time, you're going to be on the draw and that thing is going to do nothing. Like, your opponent is going to cast their turn 3 Living End or Rhino spell, and you're going to be sitting here with a Ranger Captain in hand. Like, dang it. I wish this were literally anything else. They find... Oh, boy. Alright, so we do need to Fatal Push this Arboreal Grazer, which gets Delirium. No, it does not get Delirium. Could get Delirium. Can we find Delirium? Drown in the Lock. So I can... If they cast Explore just as a free spell, then Drown in the Lock can kill a Titan. If they don't cast Explore, then Drown in the Lock's dead. I think I'm going to keep it. Alright. So let's go Drown to hand, Heat to the bottom, Thoughtseize to exile. Get our Thoughtseize on. That gives me Delirium. That's a whole bunch of Primeval Titans. Alright. Titan, Explore, Bounce Land. Not currently Titan. They can currently Titan. Scratch that. Man. Bounce Lands are a messed up Magic card. Did they? They didn't make this uncounterable, did they? No, this is Beast. It's not a... Yeah. I didn't even realize this was on Beast and not Giant. Oh, baby. Like, looking at that Titan, like, why doesn't that say uncounterable? Or can't be countered, sorry. See, any number of these. Push, I know I want out. Bolt is no bueno. Some number of Drown in the Locks. Second Croaks is not great. Put out a Ragavan. Like that. I like boarding out a Ragavan in the matchup because of Arboreal Grazer. Like, I just never want to be in a situation where I've got multiple Ragavans in hand and they've got a Grazer out and life feels awful. I think this is a ship. Like, they need to not have turn 1 Amulet or turn 1 Arboreal Grazer. I think I'd rather, like, try to find a hand with some sort of interaction. Which I don't really love this either. Well, ironically, first hand would have been good. Seiju. No third land. So let's go Shredder plus Bobble. Free ditch Croxa. Oh, that is a land. By all technicalities. Okay. So I want this other shadow. Guess we can go like heat to hand, fence to the bottom, shadow to exile. Do I think DRC is doing better in this deck? I wouldn't say DRC is really out there doing much that I care about. Like, I think DRC, I know for a second there we were talking about, like, alright, how to express this? We gotta readjust in the chair to, like, come up with how I'm expressing something to not be taken the wrong way. I have always thought DRC was the worst creature in these shadow builds. Mainly because, like, DRC is the thing that often hits arguably the weakest. Doesn't do much in terms of, like, getting you pressure on the board. Kind of, like, hangs back and does whatever. And just, like, all in all, doesn't look fantastic. But then, like, if you're not running a dedicated shadow list, then you can make the argument of, like, shadow looking the worst in the deck. Alright. What can we do here? Let's say I start Channeler Shadow to get my Shredder trigger. So I can ditch Shadow here because I'm just trying to get closer to Delirium. Also, this is the biggest I've ever seen a Ledger Shredder. Like, by a good chunk. But I'm trying to just set up to be able to, like, Unholy Heat something, maybe flip over Delirium and let the second Unholy Heat kill a, what's it called? Titan. E on 2. I think Shadow's doing here what Murktide is doing in blue-red, if that makes sense. To an extent, yeah. Just being like that secondary big body beater. Alright, so let's start with iteration. See if we can find Delirium somehow. Alright, so Turok to hand. Vince to the bottom. Thoughtseize to exile. Yeah. So that gives us Delirium, so we would be able to Unholy Heat the dude, Endurance, whatever his name is. Alright, so what do we think about that league? I still think, like, Ledger Shredder is a 4 of, is a bit much for me, personally. And I always have to specify and say, like, it's not that I think the card is bad. Wait, why are we... I can't talk about anything if we don't have the right deck list up. Here. Alright. Now back to the deck list. I still think Ledger Shredder for me is a 4 of, is a bit much. Like, I get the idea of targeting a list for a specific meta. Like, okay, Dragon's Rage Channeler's a bit worse against things like Murktide. Shredder's better. If you're doing a lot of these grindy games, then that's often the case. But I also understand, like, targeting Magic Online. In which case, this is, like, not tuned to play what people like to play online, which is where you have all of the, like, mono blacks and Trons and blah, 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 blah. And just having, like, auto losses to those things if you're... This is, like, a challenge shadow list, not a league shadow list. I think that's the best way of expressing it. I think the 20 land shadow decks are the go-to now. Missing land drops really sucks. To an extent. Like, when you're relying more heavily on Croxas and iterations and stuff like that, then yeah, missing land drops sucks. But, like, if you're hitting those land drops anyway, you should probably just be playing a lot of better spells. But yeah. Like, I'll try a 20 land list at some point. It's not my go-to. Like, I always prefer being more on the streamlined version of Shadow. Like, I think that's part of the reason you play the deck in the first place, is to maximize what you're getting out of your available mana versus your opponent's. But I get the argument for wanting to play more the mid-range style. Just, I'd think if I'm playing the more mid-range style and going up on lands, like, I'm playing Spyros and stuff like that. And, or if you want to play Kroxa, or not Kroxa, Giganta, then you can play Kaido, whatever. But, I don't know. I don't really like the Fatal Push and the Terminate. I think I would drop something like drop Bolt. Maybe Bolt and a Push if I was going to keep the Terminates. Because you got like this inclusion of more ways to kill Murktide, and then including more ways that don't kill Murktide but kill Shredder. So, it's a little hit or miss there. This doesn't churn through the deck as frequent and consistent as Blue-Red Murktide. Agree with that.